Hey everyone, thanks for tuning into this episode of Woolpert's Audiocast series. My name is Jeremy. I have been on the Woolpert's Google Maps team for the past 6 years, and joining me today is David Hollema.
Hey, Jeremy, great to be here.
Dave has been a software engineer and architect in the geo industry for the past 15 years, and he works in Google Maps and Cloud now. Today, I really want to sit down with Dave to discuss GeoAwareness and how location technology plays a huge part in transforming internal processes and customer experiences. Dave, thanks for joining me. Let's start by explaining what GeoAwareness is.
GeoAwareness is a quick start solution that we developed internally here at Woolpert. And overall, the solution is meant to improve customer experience and internal operations in the curbside pickup order industry. And it does that in a few different ways. And we'll get into some of the details of how the solution works and what it looks like.
Awesome. So let's talk about what prompted the development for GeoAwareness.
The backstory of GeoAwareness is Google came to us with a common challenge. They were looking for a solution to a problem that they were seeing across their customer base. Given the surge in distance ordering and curbside pickup behavior due to COVID, their customers, primarily in the food and beverage industry and retail industries, were seeing a problem with how to handle this increased demand. And specifically, customers were experiencing high wait times, and they were looking for an overall solution to improve customer experience and streamline internal operations.
I can only imagine that this past year has just accelerated this promptness, this need for GeoAwareness.
Yeah, absolutely. And
Let me tell a story about my experience ordering food at a distance, and I think this will resonate with most people. This is kind of a typical experience that folks have today. So one evening I placed an order for fast food with my phone on a certain restaurant's mobile application. The application presented me with instructions of driving directions as well as an estimate of when my food would be ready. So I headed out to the restaurant at the appropriate time, and after arriving in the parking lot, the mobile device left me with a prompt to click a button that said, "I'm here." I did that. I also entered the parking space number I was in, and within about 5 minutes, a runner met me at my vehicle. And we had this back and forth dialogue to get things worked out. All in all, my wait time, unfortunately, was 25 to 30 minutes. And I think that's a common experience that many people experience today. And so this served as sort of the mental model for how I could improve this experience and served as the base model around what an improved solution may look like.
So with that experience in mind, how does GeoAwareness work?
so GeoAwareness, again, it's a solution to help automate this experience I just described. The way it works is it leverages the mobile location information that's provided from either Android or iOS mobile devices. And as a customer travels towards a store, their mobile device is pinging the cloud every few seconds. Then on the Google Cloud side of things, those telemetry data are judged or intersected against a set of geofences. And those could be distance-based geofences or equal drive time geofences. When a customer trips one of those virtual fences, it sends an alert to the store or kitchen so that they're aware of the customer's arrival. They can order the sequencing of preparing that food and make sure that the customer has an excellent experience overall.
That's incredible. I can only think that this applies to a ton of different industries. So let's talk about some of the use cases and scenarios you see this being implemented into.
Yeah, absolutely. So the first one I've used as the kind of the poster child so far is the food and beverage industry, particularly fast food. So traditionally, these restaurants have not been set up to handle so much pickup. There's been some element of dine-in as well. And so what that has resulted in, of course, is long customer wait times. And so what they do there is they set up geofences that represent certain drive times. And it's important for them to know, hey, when is my customer 5 minutes out? Maybe I start prepping the order at 2 minutes out, should be packaged up and ready for the runner to meet you in the parking lot, and ultimately to decrease your wait time for that experience. I think there's plenty of other industry use cases as well. And I know you've seen some of those, Jeremy. And why don't you tell us a little bit about what you're seeing?
Yeah, I've talked to a few folks. I think some of these surprising use cases have been seeing has been coming from the hospitality industry, so like travel and leisure, and it's all revolves around providing guests this contactless experience, making sure that guests are checking in without having to see anybody, guests are getting their rooms without having to see anybody, and GeoAwareness just fits into that puzzle. So, for example, a use case is when a guest is getting off their airplane, they say, I'm on my way to the hotel. And as they're traveling, the hotel is able to, or the lodging is able to get rooms ready, is able to get rental cars ready, maybe bellhops or experiences like spas are ready for them, all in an effort to make this extremely smooth, streamlined experience between the guest and the establishment. And it really surprised me, but I'm seeing higher user satisfaction. I'm seeing turnover rates on rooms improving. And it's one of the use cases that I had to step back and it's like, I didn't think we were developing this for the hospitality industry, but it just is, it's fitting so perfectly in this day and age.
Another one that we've seen surface is in the healthcare industry, particularly for those time critical applications. So imagine a hospital needs to prep staff and equipment for someone who's had an accident, and they may be arriving by ambulance or flight for life, and their time is of the essence, right? And so they want to make sure that they've got everything in order to handle that potentially life-saving event.
And in that type of scenario, you mentioned time is the essence. We're utilizing tools like Google's traffic layer, which is highly accurate ETAs. You're getting real-time traffic notifications. I can only imagine the type of impact minutes will make if you're off on that type of calculation.
Yeah, that's right. And Google's real-time traffic information is absolutely leveraged in this solution and makes those, refines those time estimates significantly by taking the real-time traffic conditions into context.
And I know we're just talking about a handful here, but I can only sense that as we break out of this pandemic, this type of customer behavior, this experience that consumers are demanding of their brands will only drive more and more of these use cases to come.
Yeah, and there's other industries we already have in mind, things like product shipments, whether that's long haul trucking or ocean going vessels, also things like utilities. Maybe it becomes critical for a field supervisor to know when a service tech is approaching a critical piece of infrastructure from a safety perspective. So again, endless applications.
And so for listeners that are hearing these use cases, that these might be resonating, I'm sure the next question is how is this solution delivered? What does that look like for that end user?
Sure, I've used the term solution throughout our talk today, and I've done that intentionally. The solution word we're using is meant to be in contrast with product. And when I say product, think like a SaaS platform. So first, a little bit about what GeoAwareness is not. It's not a SaaS product that Woolpert offers where a customer may come to us and purchase a subscription, and we host and operate this platform ourselves. Really, you can think of it as a build-based delivery mechanism where we work with you and the customer's engineering teams to deploy the solution into your own private Google Cloud project or platform. It's completely 100% open source. There are no licensing requirements. All the architectural blueprints are available. And there's, of course, many benefits you get with that deploy it yourself solution.
What are some of the benefits that an end user would get by deploying it themselves?
Well, the big one is the idea of ownership. Since it's deployed in your own Google Cloud project, you now take ownership of the platform, which consists of all the Google resources, compute, storage, notification, or messaging. All those resources are owned and operated, monitored by your teams. In addition to that, you get ownership of all the data. There's volumes and volumes of data, of course, arriving to the platform, depending on how many customers you have, all that location-rich telemetry data. And this gives you the ability to gain new insights.
Have you thought of any type of these insights or what this data could be used for?
Yes, from a big data perspective, we've heard a number of things from our customers, marketing departments. Of course, we've thought of some additional
features ourselves, but just to mention a few of them, from the marketing perspective, there's this idea of how can I complement my existing business intelligence information with data that are location rich. So for example, if I knew where my customers currently at, where they're ordering from, what travel corridors they're taking to arrive at my store, maybe which competitors' locations they're passing en route, all of that's valuable marketing information and can help drive future sales.
That's fascinating. I can't wait to see what type of derived insights we can get from this telemetry data. The last thing I wanted to talk about today was, what do you see happening post-pandemic? Do you think this need from consumers will stick around?
I do. And I think retail experts would agree with me as well. All indications are that the customer buying behavior has changed permanently. And we don't expect that customers will return to the same levels of dine-in, for example, that they had pre-COVID. So I think solutions like this with the real-time alerting for curbside pickup are here to stay. And I think this shift is just the beginning of innovation in this area.
I completely agree. I think one of the stats I was reading is that within 2 months of the beginning of the pandemic, the US was seeing 5 years worth of tech innovation, whether this was in the click and collect space or just e-commerce space. This past year has pushed companies to the brink of what can be possible with innovation. I strongly believe that consumers are going to cling on to this experience that they've grown accustomed to.
Yeah, for sure. And I think customers to date have been pressured to develop solutions quickly. And a lot of them are ad hoc, right? Pieced together, thrown together. And we're hoping GeoAwareness fits that need for a more robust and reliable solution.
Amazing. That's all we have for this episode. And I want to thank you again, Dave, for joining. And thanks to everybody who tuned in. Whether you're considering a solution like GeoAwareness or looking to implement location technology into your existing workflows, we hope this conversation resonated with you. And lastly, Dave, how can listeners get in contact with us?
For more information on GeoAwareness, there's a couple options. You can visit our landing page at woolpert.com/GeoAwareness. And then if you want to take the next step and get started, look at maybe what a pilot project may entail, please email our team at cloudsuccess@woolpert.com or contact us through the product page as well.
Awesome. Thanks everybody for joining.
Thank you.